The Gigabay stands over 300 feet tall. It is wider than a football field. This building is a monster made of steel. It dwarfs the Cybertrucks driving past it. It even makes the Starship look small. SpaceX built this in months, not years. Most companies take a decade to build a hangar this size, but Elon Musk does things differently. He does not just want one rocket, he wants a fleet. He wants 1,000 Starships every year. That sounds like a crazy number. It sounds like a dream. But the Gigabay is the proof it can happen. This is not just a building. It is a machine that builds machines. You have felt the slow pace of space travel before. You have seen the delays. You have seen the billion-dollar rockets that never fly. You are right to be frustrated. But this is the reversal. This is where the speed changes. This is where the future gets built at scale. The structure is a forest of steel pillars. In early January 2026, the site was a jungle gym for giants. Huge cranes swung beams into place every hour. This was not a slow construction project. It was a race against time. Every pillar had to fit exactly into the grid. The weight of the rockets inside will be massive. Each vertical beam supports thousands of tons of steel and fuel. This is the backbone of the hangar. It holds the future of our path to Mars. You already know that most space programs move slow. They spend years on a single bolt or a single door. SpaceX moves at the speed of heat. They call this the Gigabay for a reason. It is the largest rocket factory on Earth. It is where the dream of a city on Mars becomes real hardware. Think about that for a second. Building a rocket used to be like building a custom car. It took hundreds of people and many months. You would build one, test it, and pray it worked. That is how the old guard did it. That is why space was so expensive for so long. But look at the numbers. In 2023, SpaceX launched 96 times. China managed 67 total launches. Russia only did 19. The gap is not just big, it is a canyon. The Gigabay is how SpaceX makes that canyon even wider. They are moving from making rockets to mass producing them. This is the same way Henry Ford changed cars. This is the competence of high-rate manufacturing. It is a scoreboard that nobody else can match right now. The real breakthrough came when they switched to steel. Most experts said carbon fiber was the future. They said steel was too heavy for a rocket. They said it would never work for a giant ship. But carbon fiber is hard to work with. It is expensive and slow. It breaks if you look at it wrong. SpaceX tried it and they failed. Then they did something smart. They looked at the physics again. Steel is cheap and plentiful. It handles high heat very well. You can weld it in the Texas wind without a clean room. This solved the production bottleneck. Here is the key. They did not need the perfect material. They needed the most practical material. Steel made the Starship possible. It made the Gigabay possible. It turned a science project into a production line. Here is the thing. A factory like this needs a special engine. That engine is the Raptor 3. The older engines were a mess of wires and tubes. They looked like a bowl of spaghetti. They were hard to build and hard to fix. The Raptor 3 is different. It is clean and simple. Most of the parts are printed inside the metal itself. It has more power, but weighs less than the old ones. It is the most advanced engine ever made, and SpaceX can build them very fast. They are aiming for one engine every single day. A Starship needs 39 engines per flight. You cannot do that with old technology. You need a system that builds itself. That is what you see inside the Gigabay. The competition is struggling to keep up with this pace. Boeing and NASA are still using old methods. The SLS rocket costs about $2 billion for every launch. That is $2 billion of your tax dollars for one flight. It cannot be used again. It falls into the ocean and sinks. It is gone forever. SpaceX wants the Starship to cost a few million per flight. They want to use the ship again and again. It is like the difference between a plane and a firework. You do not throw away a big plane after one trip. You fuel it up and fly again. This is the competitive scoreboard. One company builds a museum piece. The other builds a fleet. The results are clear. One side is winning the race to the stars. Let that sink in for a moment. The Gigabay is not just for storage. It is for assembly. It is a giant vertical line. Workers on different levels work on different sections. The bottom section gets the engines. The middle section holds the fuel tanks. The top section is for the crew or the cargo. They stack them like blocks. This method saves a lot of time. It saves a lot of money. It reduces mistakes on the floor. In the old days, a mistake meant a year of delay. At Starbase, a mistake means a new ship is ready in a week. They learn from the failures. They catch the small errors before they become disasters. This is technical mastery in action. You have likely seen the old rockets at the museum. They are beautiful, but they are relics of the past. They represent a time when we could only go to space once a year. That world is over. The Gigabay is a symbol of the new world. It is a testament to what happens when vision meets execution. Elon Musk says they will build one ship every few days. That sounds like science fiction, but look at the steel beams. Look at the cranes in the sky. Look at the launch pad nearby. The progress is happening right now. It is happening in the dirt of South Texas. This is the most important construction site on the planet. Stay with me here. The cost of space is the biggest wall we face. If it costs $10,000 to send a pound of water to space, we stay on Earth. If it costs $10, we go to Mars. The Gigabay is the hammer that breaks that wall. By building at scale, the price drops. This is resource efficiency. Every weld in the Gigabay is a step toward a cheaper flight. Every Raptor engine is a win for the scoreboard. The goal is to make space as common as air travel. This is how humanity becomes a multi-planet species. It does not happen with long speeches. It happens with steel and fire. The pattern is easy to recognize. Every successful industry follows this path. First, it is a luxury for the rich and powerful. Then someone finds a way to make it fast and cheap. Then it becomes a utility for everyone. We saw it with cars 100 years ago. We saw it with computers 50 years ago. Now we are seeing it with rockets. SpaceX has already landed the Falcon 9 over 250 times. No other company has even landed one booster. That is not hype. That is a fact you can check. The Gigabay is the next step in that pattern. It takes the success of the Falcon 9 and scales it up by 10. It is a move to dominate the market for decades. You already knew the government was too slow. You have seen the SLS cost mentions in the news. It is a program built on old ideas and old politics. It is built to keep jobs in certain states, not to reach the stars. This is where your tax dollars go to die. But SpaceX is different. They are a private company. They have to be efficient or they fail. This creates a culture of competence. Every person in that hangar knows the goal. They are there to build the ship that goes to Mars. They are there to win the race. This is the justice of the market. The better system is winning because it works better. The Gigabay is also a strategic asset for the nation. It gives the United States a massive lead in space. Other countries are trying to copy the Falcon 9, but by the time they finish, Starship will be flying every week. China is working on the Long March 9. They want it to fly by 2033. SpaceX is flying Starship prototypes now. That is an 8-year head start. In the world of technology, 8 years is an eternity. It is the difference between a flip phone and a modern smartphone. The gap is not closing. It is getting wider every day. This is the future position of the American space industry. Here's the part most people miss. The Gigabay is part of a larger system. You have the factory, you have the launch tower, you have the giant arms that catch the rocket. It all works together like a clock. If the factory is fast but the tower is slow, the system fails. So they built the tower just as fast as the bay. They call it Megabay and Gigabay for a reason. They are the twin hearts of the production line. One builds the boosters, the other builds the ships. Together they create a constant stream of hardware. This is how you reach 140 launches per year. That is more than twice a week, every week. Think about the scale of 100 tons. That is the weight of about 15 pickup trucks. That is what one Starship can carry to the moon. A Falcon 9 can only carry about 25 tons. The SLS can carry 95 tons, but it costs $2 billion. Starship can carry more for a tiny fraction of that price. This is the economic shift that changes everything. It means we can send big telescopes to space. We can send massive fuel depots to orbit. We can send the materials to build a base on the moon. The Gigabay is the place where those dreams are welded together. The breakthrough revelation is simple. You do not build a better rocket by thinking about the rocket. You build a better rocket by thinking about the factory. Most companies focus on the vehicle itself. SpaceX focuses on the machine that makes the vehicle. This is why they are winning. Here is how they actually did it. They designed the ship to be easy to build. They removed the fancy and expensive parts. They used simple steel and common tools. This allows them to iterate. If something breaks, they change the design and build a new one the next day. This is the secret of Starbase. You have felt the excitement of the Apollo era through old movies. People used to stop and watch the launches on television. Then, space became boring for a long time. It became a government project that never went anywhere new. You were right to lose interest back then, but look at what is happening now. This is a new era of mastery. This is a time of risk and progress. The Gigabay is a symbol of that progress. It is a 30-story monument to human ingenuity. It shows that we can still do big things. We can still move fast. We can still build the future with our own hands. The technical system names are important to know. You have the Starship, you have the Super Heavy booster, you have the Raptor engines, you have the launch mount, and now you have the Gigabay. These are the parts of the machine. Each one is a marvel of engineering. But the Gigabay is the most important for the long term. It is the thing that makes the others cheap. It is the thing that makes them frequent. Without the Bay, Starship is just another cool rocket. With the Bay, Starship is a transportation system for the whole solar system. The numbers do not lie. SpaceX is aiming for 1,000 ships. Each ship is 160 feet tall. The booster is 230 feet tall. Together they are nearly 400 feet of steel. That is taller than the Statue of Liberty. And they want to build one of these every few days. Let that sink in. They are building skyscrapers that fly. And they are building them in a factory that they finished in less than a year. This is the speed of a winner. This is the result of a culture that values results over meetings and memos. Competitive pressure is a good thing for everyone. It forces everyone to get better or get out of the way. For years, there was no competition in space. Boeing had the contracts, NASA had the budget, nothing moved forward. Now, SpaceX is the leader. Everyone else is playing catch-up. This is good for you. It means more progress for less money. It means the dream of space is finally coming back to life. You have seen the failures of the old system. You have seen the Starliner problems and the long delays. You've seen how hard it is for them to innovate, but here, in the Gigabay, innovation is the daily routine. The strategic future is clear to anyone watching. Whoever controls the orbit controls the future of the economy. SpaceX is putting more mass into orbit than the rest of the world combined. They are building a highway to the stars. The Gigabay is the toll booth. It is the place where the ships are born. If you want to go to the moon, you will likely go on a ship built in this bay. If you want to go to Mars, this is your starting point. This is not a guess. This is the trajectory of the industry. The data proves it. The steel in Texas proves it. Now it gets good. The Gigabay uses a modular design. They build the rings first, then they stack the rings, then they weld them together. It is a continuous flow of work. They do not wait for one ship to be finished to start the next one. There are always 5 or 6 ships in different stages of completion. This is how you avoid bottlenecks. This is how you keep the workers busy every day. This is how you keep the momentum going. This is the logic of a production line applied to the biggest machine ever made. It is a masterpiece of logistics. You see where this is going. The Gigabay is just the beginning. As they master this building, they will build more. They will build them at the Cape in Florida. They might build them in other places too. The goal is a global network of rocket factories. This is how you get to 1 million people on Mars. You need thousands of ships. You need millions of tons of cargo. You need a way to build it all without breaking the bank. The Gigabay is the first step in that massive plan. It is the blueprint for a spacefaring civilization. Think about the coordination required inside that building. You have cranes, welders, robots, and engineers all working in one space. They are moving tons of steel with millimeter precision. One wrong move and the whole thing could fail. But they have the tools, they have the custom rigging, they have the alignment lasers, they have the competence to get it right every time. This is the part people miss when they talk about Elon Musk. It is not just about the big ideas, it is about the ability to execute those ideas on the ground. It is about the people in the hard hats. The Gigabay is a testament to the power of rapid iteration. They do not try to be perfect on the first try. They build, they test, they break, and they fix. This is the opposite of the NASA way of doing things. The old way was to spend 12 years making sure nothing broke. Then it broke anyway. SpaceX expects things to break. They design the system to handle it. This is why the Gigabay is so important. It allows them to replace a broken ship in days. This removes the fear of failure. It allows them to take big risks. And taking risks is the only way to make a breakthrough. The scoreboard shows the truth to the world. While others talk about what they will do in 10 years, SpaceX shows what they did this morning. The Gigabay rose from the dirt in record time. The ships are being stacked as we speak. The engines are being fired on the test stand every night. This is the reality of the 21st century space race. It is not a race between nations. It is a race between the old way and the new way. The new way is winning. The Gigabay is the proof. It is a giant, steel-clad fact that cannot be ignored by anyone. This matters more than it sounds. Space is the ultimate high ground for humanity. It is where the next economy will live. It is where the resources of the future are. Asteroids have more gold and platinum than all the mines on Earth. The moon has fuel for the entire solar system. But you cannot get there without a cheap way to fly. The Gigabay is the key to that economy. It is the machine that unlocks the resources of the heavens. It is the most important investment in our future, and it is being built with private money and American grit. The world is watching for a reason. They see the scale, they see the speed, they see the competence. They know that this is where the future is being made. You have felt the shift. You have seen the launches on your phone. You have heard the roar of the engines. It is a different feeling than the old days. It feels like we are finally moving again. It feels like the limits are falling away. The Gigabay is the symbol of that feeling. It is a pillar of hope in a world that often feels stuck. It shows what happens when we stop talking and start building. Here's the thing about technical mastery. It creates its own luck. By working harder and faster, SpaceX finds the solutions that others miss. They found the way to use steel. They found the way to simplify the engine. They found the way to catch a booster with giant metal arms. None of this was luck. It was the result of thousands of hours of work in places like the Gigabay. It was the result of a refusal to accept impossible as an answer. This is the archetype of the magician, turning the impossible into the real through work and skill. The Gigabay stands as a symbol of mastery and relentless progress. It stands as a testament to what we can achieve when vision meets execution. 1,000 starships per year may seem like a dream, but the steel and the numbers say otherwise. This building will churn out vehicles faster than the world has ever seen. The gap between the leaders and the rest is widening every day. And as the ships roll out of the bay, the path to Mars becomes a reality. This is not the end of the story. It is just the beginning of our journey to the stars.